Welcome. In this short video, we're going to go over the value of running a lead nurturing strategy in your business, but also some brief instructions on how it's possible to run an effective lead nurturing strategy in your business as well. First of all, what is lead nurturing? Lead nurturing is the biggest opportunity for you to significantly grow your business and pitch for more listings without having to compete with competitors. Looking after clients and customers on your database by making regular phone calls and sending them relevant market reports is at the heart of any successful lead nurturing strategy. 4 phone calls a year, 4 reports sent out per year, that's all you need to manage in order to have an effective lead nurturing strategy running in your business. The reason we say it's the most effective way of growing your business and pitching for more listings without having to compete is because if you're running an effective lead nurturing strategy with regular phone calls, regular relevant reports going out to your clients over a long period of time, you're the only agent that's probably keeping them consistently up to date with the market. So when it comes time to sell, you're the first person and quite often the only person that they think of and call in to do an appraisal for them. Here's a stark reality from the New Zealand real estate market. A recent nationwide survey of over 2,000 real estate salespeople found that less than 5% felt they had a comprehensive lead nurturing and database management strategy in place. Less than 5%. So I guess you've got to ask yourself the question, do you think you have a comprehensive plan in place in your business? The 5% that said yes, they did have a comprehensive plan in place, they were either managing a small and easily managed database themselves, or they employed someone else to assist them. Obviously, if you've only got 50 people on your database, it's very easy to look after those people yourself. What you will find, though, is as your database grows over 150, it will start to become very difficult, if not impossible, to effectively and consistently look after and stay in touch with those people. So whether you choose to use our service or someone else's service, or whether you choose to employ a PA, our advice would be just to get a lead nurturing strategy in place in your business. So why is it that real estate salespeople don't seem to have too much trouble building a database, but we have such a problem staying in touch with these people long term? There are a mixture of different reasons. Quite often, though, it's that we simply don't want to make the calls, or we aren't able to make the calls required to stay in touch with our database effectively. Why don't we make the calls? There are a variety of reasons. I don't know what to say. I don't really know these people. I don't like making these calls. I'm so busy. I only want to talk to people selling. I don't have enough time, or I don't think it will pay off. The bread and butter of a lead nurturing strategy is the relevant information that's going out to your clients. The great thing within Ray White, we've got access to the Outfit Market Snapshot reports. These market snapshot reports are brilliant because they are suburb specific. They can be sent out to homeowners on your database once a month, once every 3 months, whatever sort of cycle you decide to send them out on. And obviously, if you've spoken to the client in the first place and offered them the report and they've accepted that offer, it's information that they want to be receiving, and it's another touch point. As part of our process, we send these reports out once every 12 weeks. So for people using a lead management, lead nurturing strategy, your clients will receive one of these reports 4 times per year. Now, if you're going to do this yourself, you'll need to produce one report for every suburb represented on your database every month. So if you go into your database and you've got homeowners in 15 different suburbs across your area on your database, you're going to need to produce 15 of these reports every month. And you're going to need to store those reports in some sort of a library, like on Google Drive, for instance. You're also going to need to go into your database software, whether that's My Desktop or another system, and create action plans within your database, and then link these freshly created reports to the plans that you've created within your database software. Every month when you go in to refresh the 15 reports and create a fresh batch, you're going to have to go into your database and you're going to have to relink the reports into those action plans every single month. Then we get into the next stage of the lead nurturing strategy. We've got our reports, we've created our action plans, those are all ready to go. Now we need to start calling people and offering them the reports. So on a lead nurturing strategy, we basically have two different types of calls that are made. The first is the lead generation call. This is the initial phone call. So at the beginning, we will call through the entire database and offer them a market snapshot report for the area where they're living at the moment. We add any relevant notes from that conversation into our database, and if the person has said yes to receiving the report, we connect them to an action plan that we've created within our database software so that they now receive that report once every 12 weeks. If they say no to the report, then we connect them to an action plan that will prompt us to make another phone call to offer that person the report again in 12 weeks' time. The second phone call, the nurturing call, kicks in 12 weeks later. This is where we call the people back that accepted the offer for the market snapshot report 12 weeks prior, and we give them a call to see if they received the report, see if they had any questions, and see if there's anything else we can do to help. That's the follow-up. We add any relevant notes into our database, and if the person does give us an indication as to when they're thinking about selling, we add that person into pipeline. And those really are the only two calls required within a lead nurturing strategy. Everyone that says no to the market snapshot report or anyone that we're not able to get hold of stays in the lead generation call cycle until they accept the offer, and then they move across to the nurturing call cycle. Our hope and our goal, obviously, is that eventually we end up with almost everybody in the database on a nurturing call cycle, receiving a market snapshot for their area once every 3 months. Very important that all notes from every conversation goes into your database. We also do the same if we're working for you. Every conversation we have with your clients, every phone call that gets made, even if the phone doesn't get answered, we put all the relevant notes into My Desktop so that you know exactly what's going on, and we encourage you when you're interacting with your clients to also leave notes in My Desktop about that conversation so the two of us are working in sync. And anytime anyone gives any indication as to when they might be thinking about selling, even if they tell you that they're going to be selling in 3 years' time, we want to make sure that we add that person into our pipeline. This is the lead commission cycle. The lead to commission cycle is very important because this basically shows us the different levers in a real estate salesperson's business that they can adjust to make their business more effective and more profitable. There's 6 main levers. Lead generation. So this is the collection of geodata contacts that we add into our database, name, email, phone, and address of the property that they own. This is a potential lead for the future that we may be able to generate appraisals from. The second lever is lead nurturing. So once we've added those geo contacts into the database, we've got to look after them. We've got to provide them with relevant information, and we've got to have some ongoing human contact with them so that when they are ready to get an appraisal done, we are the ones that they are thinking of, and we're the ones that are going to get the appraisal. Step 3 obviously is the appraisal, having the opportunity to strengthen our relationship with that person and discover a timeline and also build trust are all key parts of the appraisal. Now, in an appraisal, somebody might not be thinking about selling right now. In fact, most of the time when you do an appraisal, people won't be thinking about selling right now. But this is the relationship commencement meeting, as Mark McLeod refers to it in his sessions. This is our opportunity to get in front of the client, have some face-to-face time, have an opportunity to have a look around their property, build trust, discover when they might be thinking about selling, and obviously present ourselves in the best possible way so that when they do think about moving, we're going to be the agent that they call. Step 4 is pipeline. So if we are able to discover the homeowner's timeline, we enter that into the pipeline, and we're making sure that we're looking after that contact after the appraisal so that when they do decide to move and when they do decide to sell, we're going to get an opportunity to present them a listing presentation prior to coming on the market. The listing presentation is step 5, and the presentation to list ratio obviously is a very important ratio within a salesperson's business. This is the percentage of properties that we end up listing compared to the number of listing presentations that we are doing. The higher our presentation to list ratio is, the more listings we're generating from our appraisal and listing presentations. Finally, another important ratio, step 6, the list to sell ratio. This is the percentage of properties that we end up selling compared to the number of properties that we put onto the market. Obviously, the more properties we sell, the higher our list to sell ratio is, and the more money we end up driving into our business. And that's where the cycle goes back to the beginning and repeats itself. After step 6, we sell the property, we end up getting some cash flow into our business, and we reinvest it into new strategies to generate more leads and grow the database. Now, the most common step in this 6-step process that is missing from real estate salespeople's businesses, 95% of agents from the survey completed do not have an effective lead nurturing strategy running in their business. And that becomes a huge missing link between the collection of geodata contacts and the generation of appraisals. Because only a very small number of those geodata contacts, when they get added into the database, are going to want an appraisal at that stage. Most of them are not ready for an appraisal yet. We put them into the database, and if we don't have an effective lead nurturing strategy running in our business, there is no human contact with those people and very, very little chance of generating the appraisal or being the agent on the spot when it's time for that person to sell. So it becomes a huge gap in our business. With that lead nurturing strategy in place, that gap is bridged, and we're going to generate a lot of appraisals from the leads and the geodata contacts that are going into the database. If a real estate salesperson can effectively improve one of these areas of the business, their income will go up. If they can improve all 6 of these, it will completely transform your business. This is what most real estate salespeople's businesses look like. This is a representation of the database. You'll see at the top, we have a very, very small number of star clients. So these are clients that are selling in the next 3 months, recent purchases, recent vendors, current vendors. And those are really the only people within the database that the agent is in some sort of regular contact with. And I'm talking, telephone calls, emails being sent, text messages going out, etc. Not just a monthly or quarterly email via ActivePipe. Some real active communication going on. The rest of the database generally, and some of these databases can be huge, is just sitting there and it's not being looked after. There's no regular phone calls happening. There's no human contact. And really that is brand damaging data. These are homeowners that have given you their contact details. They've said that they're happy for you to keep them up to date with the market. And most of the time, the agent has done nothing with that information. And that is just sitting there damaging your brand. What we want to do is we want to try and transform the database from this type of model to this type of model. And this is how your database will look after you've been running a lead nurturing strategy within your business for more than 2 years. After somebody's been nurtured for over 2 years, they've received 8 relevant suburb reports from you at least. They've received at least 8 phone calls from your team following up on those reports. So they become star clients. They've been so well looked after that chances are when they think about selling, you're going to be the agent that they call in. So we'll see now that our group of star clients is much, much larger. We've got the people that have been nurtured for 24 plus months. We've got the past vendors, we've got the past purchasers, and we've got our past appraisals. In the middle, you'll see now we have a category known as value clients. So these are people that we have permission to contact. These are people that are being nurtured, but they haven't yet been nurtured for more than 2 years. So they are a higher level of value compared to new clients, but we haven't yet turned them into star clients because we haven't been nurturing them for 2 years just yet. Our final category down the bottom, these are the new clients. These are people that we're meeting at open homes, we're meeting when we're out door knocking, cold calling, networking, whatever it may be, and we're adding them into the database, but they haven't yet gone into a lead nurturing cycle because obviously that lead nurturing cycle clicks over once every 3 months. As soon as that 3-month cycle clicks over, they will immediately be sucked up and turned into value clients and go into that lead nurturing cycle. So this is really a visual representation of a healthy database. Obviously, the only reason we would invest in our business and invest in databasing or in lead nurturing is if we're going to get a good return on that investment. I'm sure you'd agree with me there. So I guess you've got to ask yourself, what would you consider a good investment? Would that be something that's returning 6%, 7%, 8%, maybe even 10%? I'm sure you've got a figure in mind as far as what you feel would be a good return on investment. So let's see the type of return on investment that we can get from running an effective lead nurturing strategy in our business long term. These are the average Ray White commissions within New Zealand. You'll see the value of the properties up the top and the amount of the commission down the bottom. So for a $500,000 property, on average, a gross Ray White salesperson's commission will be $21,275. Now let's crunch some numbers around our lead nurturing strategy using some realistic numbers. So we've got that average gross commission for a $500,000 house of $21,275. Let's say you're on a 50-50 split with the company. Some of you may be on a better split than that, but I think that's probably an average across the industry is to be somewhere around that 50% split. That would leave you with $10,637 net. The average time that a homeowner owns a property before looking to sell it within New Zealand at the moment is 7.4 years. That is a fact, and that figure comes direct from CoreLogic. Now, if you're looking after somebody long-term within your database running a lead nurturing strategy, they're getting the regular reports, they're getting the regular phone calls, and they decide to get an appraisal done looking to go onto the market, the chance of you getting that appraisal, we're going to assume, is 75% because you are doing a good job of looking after that homeowner. You go and do an appraisal for them, and your your appraisal to list ratio is 75% because you have been looking after them very well, and let's hope you go in there and you do a good listing presentation. So you should convert a high percentage of those leads. And let's assume that 90% of the time when you list a property, it sells. We can crunch these numbers down and work out that the value of each homeowner on your database within this model is $727 per year. $21,275 times 50% is $10,637, divided by 7.4 years, because that's how long it's going to take them to sell, times 75%, times 75% again, times 90% equals $727. So a realistic return in this scenario, with the value of each homeowner being $727 per year, the cost if you use lead management to nurture those leads within your business is $16.40 per year per homeowner. I'm sure you'll agree that 4,400% is an extremely good return on your investment. But I'm sure there's some people that would like to see this crunched with some more conservative numbers. So we'll do that now. Let's say that average gross commission is only $20,000, which means the agent receives 10. Average time to sell we know is 7.4 years. Let's say you only get called in for an appraisal 50% of the time. And let's say you only convert 50% of those appraisals into listings. And let's assume that only 80% of the time do you actually sell the property. So I'm sure you'll agree those are much more conservative numbers than the last batch. And that brings us to an annual value of $270 per homeowner on our database. So with each homeowner conservatively being worth $270 per year, we know it's going to cost us $16.40 per year to look after that person with the lead management, lead nurturing strategy. Still a very, very healthy return on investment. But for all the skeptics, let's crunch some really, really conservative numbers so that everyone walks away from this really appreciating the value of a lead nurturing strategy if it's run long term. Now our average gross commission is only $15,000. The agent will receive $7,500 of that. Let's say rather than the fact that we know, which is that every homeowner on average will sell once every 7.4 years, let's assume that that's once every 10 years. Let's assume that we only get called in for an appraisal 40% of the time, even when we're looking after these people well and consistently on a lead nurturing strategy. And let's assume that we only convert 40% of those into a listing and the other 60% get picked up by one of our competitors. Let's also assume that we only sell 70% of the houses that we put onto the market. So I'm sure you'll agree these are now very, very conservative numbers, and I would hope that everyone watching this video is pulling better figures than these. And this brings us out at an annual value of each home on our database of only $84. However, even with that homeowner only being worth $84 per year based on those very conservative numbers, they still cost $16.40 to look after if we're running a lead nurturing strategy. The return on investment is still huge. Where else in business can you go, invest money into yourself and into your own business and get a return on investment of 510%? It just doesn't happen. And that's why running an effective lead nurturing strategy in your business is so powerful and long term will transform the way that you run your business. So these here, once again, are the values of various properties. The average Ray White salesperson commissions underneath, $21,275, $27,025, and so on. We know that homes on average sell once every 7.4 years. So we can work out that each homeowner over 7.4 years is going to cost us $121.36 to look after. $16.40 per year times 7.4. So what you're really investing in here is an opportunity. Over those 7.4 years, if the person's house is worth $500,000, it's going to cost us $121.36 to look after that person. But we're going to have arguably the best opportunity of any of our competitors who are also trying to look after that homeowner. We're going to have the best opportunity of picking up that commission of $21,275 because we are going to be consistently looking after them with relevant information and regular phone calls, giving us the best shot to pick up that commission and get a very, very good return on our investment of $121.36. Here's an individual case study, and we've got many more of these if you'd like to see them. Gary Singh, a Ray White elite salesperson from Takanini, after using our nurture system for only 3 months, had already picked up 51 on-site appraisals, 39 desktop appraisals. He'd already sold 3 listings that had come directly out of the system, paying for the system for the next 2 or 3 years. And he had an additional 10 listings already sitting in his pipeline that he was hoping and working towards selling. Now it's really a matter of you working out how big your gold mine is. How many homeowners do you have on your database? Are you making an effective job of looking after and nurturing those homeowners? If you're not, how are you going to do it? Are you going to use us, lead management, to help you to nurture those leads? Are you going to hire a PA that's keen to get on the phone and make phone calls each and every day on your behalf? Are you going to hire another call center or contact center in order to execute a lead nurturing strategy for you? Why us? Well, look, we do have a few key points of difference. We are based in New Zealand. It's Kiwis talking to Kiwis. We do more than what other companies offering a lead nurturing strategy do. And the process that we run is customizable so that it can be run in the way that you would like it to operate for your business. We're more cost effective than hiring a PA because you don't have to deal with the hiring process, contracts, holiday pay, sick pay, the PA leaving and needing to replace them. This system will just run consistently in the background and the leads will just pop up for you to execute. We're also more cost effective than other lead nurturing strategies that are on offer by about 25%. So there's a significant cost saving to you by using our service over the others that are out there. And we can manage your entire lead nurturing strategy for you. So you'll simply be able to look at your database of 500 homeowners and you will know that all of those people are being well looked after. So I guess the advice from today's video, hopefully now you've seen the value of a lead nurturing strategy when it's run long-term in a real estate business. Hopefully you would have looked at those conservative numbers that we crunched and there's really no ignoring the return on investment that you can get if this is done properly. The advice really would just be invest in yourself. We're not asking you to invest in some other company. It really is investing in yourself, in your own database, in the future of your business, and in running an effective lead nurturing strategy to look after those homeowners long term. It'd be great to be able to help you to execute this strategy. There's a whole bunch of other value add information that we're able to offer if you do come on board with us. Otherwise, if you're going to run the strategy yourself, all the best of luck. If there's any help or advice that we can give you, even if you are going to run the strategy yourself, we're more than happy to help you to do that. Feel free to get in touch. All the best.